Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Looks like the numbers are slowing at this time. So good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us. Welcome to the Illinois Wesleyan University Titan Talks webinar series. I'm Rosetta Clay, Assistant Vice President of Engagement, and I am always so pleased that you all are joining us for these sessions. They continue to be the most engaging opportunities that we have right now, and we really look forward to presenting them to you. I'm especially excited about this one because it is the first of an ongoing series of webinars in which we will feature the School of Music. For over 150 years, the School of Music has enjoyed a national reputation for producing talented musicians, vocalists, composers, and musical educators. The school is transitioning into a new phase with boundless possibilities for the future that will honor that tradition while embracing new opportunities. Today, we start with an in-depth conversation with the new director, Dr. Franklin Larey. He has been and will be an integral part of the school's future. I hope you all had the opportunity to view the video of his storied career, also including his beautiful musical talent. We are elated that he will be sharing his experience in leading the new vision for the School of Music, which he will be sharing with us shortly when he presents his proposal. Before we get started, as always, a few reminders for the rules of engagement. All guests are muted. However, you are more than welcome to use the chat function to ask your questions, and we will do our best to answer as many as possible. If you are an alumnus or a student, be sure to include your name and grad year. That's always helpful in identifying you. And also for others, you can include your affiliation as well. That would be greatly appreciated. If you experience any technical difficulties, try refreshing your browser or leaving the meeting and returning. Lastly, this webinar will be recorded and posted later in case you have to leave early or if you'd like to share for future viewing. Now I have the pleasure of introducing today's moderator, Todd French. Todd graduated from Illinois Wesleyan in 1993, where his interest in entrepreneurship began as he spearheaded a number of projects, including the School of Music Student Admissions Program, and setting up his own workshop to study the art of luthier with the school's instrument collection. Todd earned his master's degree in cello performance at the University of Southern California and went on to spend 2 decades as a professional cellist in the Los Angeles area. That included 17 years with the Los Angeles Opera, as well as performances with the Los Angeles Philharmonic, Hollywood Bowl Orchestra, and the Los Angeles Master Choral, and numerous major motion picture soundtrack recordings. While a graduate student at USC, he created the curator position for the university's large stringed instrument collection, and soon thereafter created a musical instrument department at Butterfield and Butterfield Auction House. He founded his company Stringworks Incorporated in 1997, and in response to his growing interest in wine, founded Wine Berserkers, the world's largest online wine community in 2009, as well as co-founding the Wine Check, the world leader in wine luggage for air travel. I love that entrepreneurial spirit. I think that's why I got so excited about it. I love wine. So anyway, Todd has remained engaged with the Illinois Wesleyan University since his graduation. He served as the president of the Alumni Association Board of Directors, as well as a member of the Board of Trustees. In 2003, he was selected as the Robert M. Montgomery Outstanding Young Alumni Award recipient. And he also has continued to be involved with the School of Music. Todd, thank you so much for all you do to support the university, including today as our moderator. Now I'll turn it over to you and Dr. Larey.
Thank you, Rosetta. I guess I get to be the one to introduce Dr. Larey to all of you. It's been my pleasure to have discussions with Dr. Larey over the past couple of months, and as you'll soon find out, his personality is so endearing, and we're about to see his exciting vision for our beloved School of Music, which, as we all know, has turned us into a bit of a panic with the recent information that's come out. I also shared with him that basically on this conversation, on this webinar, he's a hero to all of us, and that's very much the case. You'll soon find out. So, Dr. Larey, I turn it over to you for your presentation.
Thank you, Todd, for your kind words. And I want to say just good afternoon, everybody. I want to say how pleased I am to have this gathering with you and to be able to share with you some significant moments in my own career as a concert pianist, and also some moments as an administrator within the Academy. I will highlight for you the challenges I faced in South Africa after a 10-year stay in the United States, and I will also point out some rewarding moments that brought me immense joy. I will share with you my contributions to transformation and equity at the University of Cape Town, and then I will present to you my ideas contained in the vision that I have developed so far for our School of Music at Illinois Wesleyan University. I grew up in a small farming community just outside of Cape Town, where my experiences were deliberately restricted by the apartheid government to interaction solely with people like myself. These restrictions were cruel and limiting. Looking back, I am exceedingly grateful for my parents and for the values they taught my siblings and me. Growing up, I was surrounded by music, mostly listening to the radio and my self-taught parents, who played the piano and organ in church. Before I started piano lessons at the age of 16, I already knew a large chunk of the standard piano repertoire very well, largely thanks to a librarian who ordered LPs from libraries for white people that were unavailable in my local community. I remember how my curiosity shifted from listening to wondering what the music looked like on the page. After finishing high school, I enrolled as a music and psychology major at the University of the Western Cape, then an institution for Black students. I was stunned when I was offered an appointment there as a junior lecturer immediately after I graduated. In 1986, I was awarded a Fulbright scholarship to further my studies at the University of Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music, where I eventually completed a Doctor of Musical Arts in Piano Performance. My experience in Cincinnati was life-changing, both liberating and exhilarating. For the first time in my life, I could interact with a diverse group of people from different cultural backgrounds. Strangely, this was also the first time I fully interacted as an equal with white South African students who were also registered at my university. This interaction with ostensible foes on a human level was tremendously liberating. I won my first piano competition within my first 6 months at the University of Cincinnati. This, too, was tremendously liberating. I could finally let go of that nagging doubt about my abilities, planted there by the architects of apartheid. I returned to South Africa in 1997 to teach at the South African College of Music at the University of Cape Town, where I became the first Black pianist ever appointed at a South African university. Several years later, in 2002, I had the honor of becoming the first Black director of the South African College of Music. I felt keenly the burdens of history, expectation, and representation in accepting this position. But my successful performance in the very institution where I had previously been rejected was equally rewarding. During my tenure as director, my leadership and commitment to diversity and equity led to the appointment of 5 Black faculty members at the college. We undertook a curriculum review that identified inequities, division, and disproportionate spending and resources. I created a 3-pronged strategic plan to remove access barriers and lessen racial division across the 4 main departments of the college, namely African music, jazz studies, Western classical music, and the opera school. This plan resulted in a revision of the curricula, the recruitment of Black academic staff, and improve access for and the recruitment of underprivileged students. In the wider university, I served as a member and chair of the Transformation Committee in the Faculty of Humanities, as the equity representative on numerous search committees, and as a member of the Vice Chancellor's Transformation Forum. The curriculum changes I implemented were designed to better prepare our students for the 21st century, and it included, among other things, a broader general music education that incorporates diverse cultural practices, the introduction of compulsory course on South African musics, and the introduction of academic courses in world music and African music. Inserting into our music curricula these broader cultural contributions and today's advances in music technology are but two examples of meeting the demands to prepare our students for the contemporary world. My contributions to educational equity also directly affected the diversity of the student body at the College of Music. I designed a bridging program to successfully recruit more Black and disadvantaged students to our undergraduate and postgraduate programs, to make my own piano studio more diverse, and to provide opportunities to Black students. I maintained a private studio for disadvantaged young pianists. As a teacher and administrator, I enjoyed experiences with a diverse range of students, both within the School of Music and outside the university. My own piano studio at the University of Cape Town was diverse, and I am grateful for the many insights and for the enriching relationships that I gained through these experiences, which affirm that diversity brings strength to the academy as to society, and it benefits the core project of the academy, that is, the fruition of ever more ideas. I want to briefly tell you why I came to Illinois Wesleyan University. When I applied for the position, I was immediately impressed by Illinois Wesleyan's values, its standing, and its commitment to students and to pedagogy. I believed that I could make a significant contribution and that I would feel very much at home. Indeed, I have been warmly welcomed, and I truly do feel at home here. It would be less than frank of me not to admit that the past 3 months or so have been trying and difficult. I am deeply thankful for the Board of Trustees' decision to reject the recommendation of the Program Evaluation Task Force to close the School of Music. I'm also grateful for the support I received from my colleagues at the School of Music in developing a counter-proposal to keep the school open, and also the support from colleagues across the broader university. In particular, I want to thank Dr. Bill Hudson, who served as Associate Interim Director last year, for his excellent efforts to help us save the school. Most importantly, I want to acknowledge the extraordinary support we received from all of our alumni, many of whom are present here today. Your commitment to and your advocacy for the School of Music deeply moved me. I will cherish each and every email and telephone call in which you so thoughtfully conveyed your passion and your love for the School of Music and for Illinois Wesleyan University. There has also been tremendous support for the School of Music from the office of our president, Georgia Nugent, our provost, Mark Brodel, and from numerous other sectors of our university. I have started ongoing conversations with the Office of Advancement to identify and discuss key projects as we move forward. I have also had conversations with marketing and admissions to determine how they can provide support and service to our operations and projects. So the wheels are turning. Now, I would like to share with you my vision for the School of Music. I aim to restore the school's public image and to restore the trust and involvement of our alumni. I will establish continuous communication, not only with alumni and friends, but also with schools in our city, our surroundings, and beyond. I will also reach out to our campus colleagues outside of the School of Music to improve our relations and to seek the kinds of collaborations that promise to further the ideals of a liberal arts education. Critically, I will engage our most important constituents, our students. They will participate fully in all of our discussions as we debate our opportunities and as we make our best choices for the future. Many of you already know of my plans to establish a leadership council comprised of alumni. Recently, this was one of the first topics of discussion in my meeting with the Vice President for Advancement, Steve Sebring, and his team. I envisaged a leadership council closely working with Advancement to seek out opportunities to support the future objectives of the School of Music. This council will assist and advise the school on a variety of issues beyond just fundraising. As an external council, it will be significant. It will be a significant and positive force to endorse and provide credibility for the goals and mission of the school. It will also counsel the school itself and the university leadership, and it will be a networking force both to affirm existing support and to find new friends and new supporters for the School of Music. I envisage the council to engage us in matters of advancement, as well as the critical conversations we will have about our degrees. The council will also serve as an important link to all other alumni. In a nutshell, it will advocate on our behalf. The most significant component of the counter-proposal that saved the school is the reduction in the number of professional degrees we will offer, the Bachelor of Music and the Bachelor of Music Education, and the associated savings this reduction brings. This, of course, requires a robust curriculum review, which is already underway, and which will aim to strengthen and bring focus to our continuing degree programs. In our conversations and with our decisions, there will be no compromise in our mission to provide the best possible music education to our students, delivered by the most talented and best qualified faculty. Currently, our school offers only Western classical music. Jazz is offered casually, and there is no world music included in our degrees. In our curriculum discussions, we will be mindful of our responsibility to provide for our students opportunities to learn more about the ever-changing world of music in general, of diverse musical cultures, of advances in music technology, and of the many new career paths they could pursue. I'm excited about exploring possibilities for more collaboration between the School of Music and other departments on our campus. For example, we might reimagine courses in music history in such a way that it can serve the entire IWU community. A course in music and architecture, say, need not require prior knowledge of music, and a course that explores the beginnings of Romanticism in Beethoven's late works could also be rewarding without any knowledge of music. There are other opportunities to collaborate with other departments through the development of minors, which can help our students build successful 21st century careers. And there are several models to look to. Oberlin responded to its own crisis in 2019 by introducing several new minors which brought them opportunities for growth. And they include minors in music and cognition, in music and technology, and in entrepreneurship, administration, and leadership. In order for us to realize our goals, recruitment and retention will be of utmost importance. At the very start of my appointment in August 2019, the music faculty retreat focused on recruitment and retention. The recent appointments of Dr. Brad Regier in music education and of Dr. Sayan as Director of Large Ensembles bring enormous strength to our recruitment efforts. Recently, We also appointed a vibrant, energetic, and most qualified group of applied teachers, all of whom will contribute to these efforts. All of these new appointees stand ready to assist, and they are ready to advance our efforts to recruit the best talent for our school and for our university. I will also look to, and I will invite all alumni to join our recruitment efforts. I will engage you immediately and regularly through my office and also through the Leadership Council as soon as it is established. I have witnessed your deep commitment and loyalty to the School of Music, and I look forward to engaging you in our work. There are clear and obvious strategies to recruit students. These include school visits, masterclasses, concerts, and so forth. I also want to establish a named resident faculty string quartet, which is standard at most music schools. This will add strength to our efforts as well. I also will explore with Sion how we can extend our reach beyond the schools that we currently visit. Our recruitment efforts will be mindful of my desire and the need to diversify our student body as well. Our music preparatory program are strong contributors to the cultural life of Bloomington Normal and provide young students with skills that enrich their lives. These programs in piano, strings, and woodwinds have served thousands of families over the past 150 years. We are proud of our partnership with the Pratt Foundation, whose generous annual financial support makes it possible for disadvantaged children to receive a high-quality music education. In our future, I see the preparatory program functioning as an extension of our school and not as something that just passes us by unnoticed. I see it as a part of a recruitment strategy to encourage young students to eventually choose Illinois Wesleyan for college. Discussions are underway for the preparatory program to serve the full range of instrumental and vocal studies, and with a centralized preparatory program administration. The School of Music makes a strong contribution to cultural life, both on and off campus. The annual Symposium of Contemporary Music has hosted world-renowned composers, including Aaron Copland, Arvo Pärt, and William Bolcom. Marketing this activity is another recruitment strategy that has not been fully realized. A recent generous gift enabled us to become an all-Steinway school, a prestigious designation that we can also use in recruitment and marketing efforts. Choral and instrumental traditions have been part of the essential fabric of the school for decades. We maintain the oldest collegiate-level choral commissioning series in the country. We are also the first American choir from whom the King's Singers accepted a commission, and we are the first American choir to be invited to perform at the Woordfeest Festival in South Africa. The opportunities ahead are numerous and exciting. We are entering a new era, and we are excited to explore our possibilities presented to you here today. All of us at the School of Music take seriously this opportunity to respond in a meaningful and effective way to the challenges we face. The work starts now, and I look forward to engaging my colleagues, music colleagues, and our administration. We are ready to move, and we are ready to build a stronger and a vibrant School of Music for everyone. I again want to thank our alumni for your loyal and unwavering support. This means a lot to all of us at the School of Music. Thank you very much. I hand over to Todd.
Thank you, Dr. Larey. I want to boldly speak for all of us and share our excitement for all of the things that you have planned. Now is a good opportunity to start with your questions. You can place them in the chat function. I will parse through them. And because you can't see everyone's questions, I'll go through them and then I'll present them to Dr. Larey so that he can address them individually. I know that there from what we've, it's hard to say without, the opportunities that are being presented to us are far different from what the scare was. And I want everyone to realize that. It appears that the administration has really, truly given Dr. Larey an opportunity to prove himself. He was just recently hired. And then this was just presented to him with all of these potential changes. I guess we can call them changes, but it seemed like the scare was that there was a shutdown of our beloved School of Music. And right now, it appears that almost the opposite is occurring. And this really gives Dr. Larey an opportunity to bring his vision to our school, and it's long overdue. We need to come up with the plan, or he's already come up with the plan. We need to execute this plan. So I'm gonna start going through the questions. Let me see here. Okay, one question here. By the way, I'm going to refer to Dr. Larey as Franklin. I did ask his permission ahead of time. As we discuss on the phone, anyone who has received a doctorate and has the academic expertise that he does deserve to be called Dr. Larey, but we're going to go with Franklin since we're just a little panel here. So here we go with one question is, how can we get involved on the Alumni Council? This is Shireen Hassan, class of 20.
Okay, hello, Shireen. I'm very glad you asked that question. I am currently in conversation with Advancement, and we are in the process to determine exactly the function and the details of how the council will work, how it will work with Advancement, and how we can use the council to also work with admissions and marketing. So there's going to be a multi-pronged approach to the kind of alumni that we are going to contact to join the council. And only once that is finalized can we really begin to look at the composition of the council and the numbers that we're going to use. I have not given that much thought yet, as in my mind I need to determine the intricate details of the function of the council. I did receive a list of an extensive spreadsheet with all of many alumni names, and that's your talents and the contributions you can make. As soon as my conversations with Advancement becomes channeled and focused to a point that we are ready, we will reach out to alumni with requests for you to join us on the council. So I hope that answers your question.
The questions are pouring in, Franklin, so get ready. You might want to have the water handy. Here we go. All right, this is Carol Phoenix. Don't have the class. Don't have the class here. If you are a graduate, please, if you can, put your graduation year in there. It's just nice to hear from you. Carol Phoenix asks, who is the large group leader and what does that mean?
Large group leader. I don't quite understand the question.
I didn't either. So Carol, I was hoping that you did. So Carol, if you can follow up with that, I'll address that one later. Christy Tucker's question: in the past years, the summer band camp programs were a significant recruitment tool for the instrumental programs. Are there any plans to use those sort of summer programs as a way for high schoolers to develop relationships with the school and help boost recruitment? It's a great question, Christy. Christy Tucker, I mentioned that, right? Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. This band camp has come up several times. It was raised at our recruitment and retention workshop at the beginning of 2019 when I first arrived. I think it's something that I will pursue. We have a very energetic director of bands, and it's something that will bring immense energy to our efforts to recruit. I've seen this past year, just before we shut down, I saw the number of high school kids that came for the jazz festival with schools, and that was an extraordinary event. And a brass camp during the summertime will bring so many potential students to us. So that's certainly something that's on the cards again. Yes.
Okay. This is a very interesting one. I know this has come up many times. This is Kate Tombaugh. Her question is, in considering whether to earmark future donations, how do we create the best force for IW School of Music in particular?
I will have to defer this to, or let me put it this way. I believe that the most appropriate way to start a funding drive is to engage with advancement. And I'm confident that Steve Sebring would be very, very excited to have a conversation to take this idea forward. So, Kate, if you don't mind, please do write to Steve Sebring, and I'm confident he will help.
There are some discussions with regards to that in sort of in the works. Isn't there already between you and an advancement office? That's for you, Franklin.
Oh, that's for me.
Yes, to her question, aren't there already conversations that are?
Yes,
you're just barely starting to formulate that
absolutely.
Part of it, and I think.
Absolutely. My conversation with advancement, I think, is a result of this kind of reinvestment in the school and the atmosphere post the Board of Trustees meeting. So my relationship with them at the moment is wonderful. I have had the conversation. We need to understand and define what our needs are. And there are very, very many needs for the school. I look at facilities. It's a broad range of issues. Once we earmark and define what our direction is going to be, we will decide how to approach donors, or which donors to approach. But that is something that I believe lies firmly in the hands of Steve Sebring and his team. But we're having the conversation, and I think that is already quite amazing and exhilarating.
One of the key phrases that you used, and this is what everyone needs to hear, is that there was a decision made to reinvest in the School of Music. So we literally pulled a 180 on that, where it was, let's consider shutting it down, and now they're looking at not just, let's give Dr. Larey a chance. They're going to reinvest in it. So we've got a wonderful opportunity here, and I'm quite sure, given the feedback that we've all seen and or received from, as Franklin says, alumni. I love the way he says alumni. That we have a very powerful financial force behind us that I think will be well utilized. But this information is still developing, and it's really very recently presented to like just discussed. So it's a moving target at this point. But know that it's going to be part of this project, a big part, and that reinvesting in our School of Music is going to be something that they're looking at, and exactly how to, with Franklin's leadership, that's what we'll. So I'm not sure I'd reach out to. Yes. Actually, it's probably good to reach out to Steve right away and start to apply the pressure. Go ahead, Franklin.
Yes, I just want to add to that. I think it's significant also that advancement have assigned a staff member, Bob Murray, as the person that will help me in my conversations. The fact that I have somebody that I can talk to whenever I want to is significant. And then I just want to make sure that everybody understands, I'm not trying to steer the conversation away from me. Please contact me. I don't imply or intend to imply that please don't contact me. Of course, I would love to hear from you, and I would love to talk to you. So you can call me, you can email me. I'd be happy to talk.
Okay, and Bob Murray is fantastic. So I'm personally excited that he's sort of your key contact there. All right, we only have about 27 more questions at this moment, so here we go. This is Philip and Leslie. Oh, Philip Jones, class of 73. He put it at the end. Thank you, Philip. Will you be hiring brass teachers as faculty members, not adjuncts?
Okay, I understand. This is the issue that has come up. We just had a host of retirements, and we are at a point now where we have to focus our attention on rebuilding the programs at the school. Our attention needs to be focused on moving the school forward. This is a very, very complex question about the value of adjuncts and compared to that of tenure line positions. From the outset, I want to say that I don't take anything away from don't want anything to be taken away from the wonderful, young, talented adjuncts we have just appointed. But this is a moment for us to step back and look at where we are and how we're moving forward. And the long-term vision would be to have a strong, loyal group of faculty members engaged within the school, whether that is going to be in the future a host of tenure line positions or not. I do not believe that we are at the right moment to make those kind of choices yet. I think we need to move with settling the school, making our programs as strong as we possibly can, and then we see where we are.
Thank you, Franklin. Ron Bedal, or Beadle, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, class of 1976, professional musician, band leader in Chicago. Excuse me. I can understand full ensemble rehearsals may not be possible because of COVID concerns. Regarding the jazz ensemble in particular, could it not be possible to at least have the rhythm section, the backbone of the band, rehearse safely? The rhythm section later could be used to feature vocalists, instrumentalists, etc. down the road. I believe I heard the word casual regarding the jazz ensemble. I would like to know what that means exactly. So we've got a two-part question there from Ron.
Yes, I'll answer the second part first. I don't mean it in a demeaning or derogatory way. It's just that we do not offer a Bachelor of Music degree in jazz. It's not part of our key core programs. We don't have faculty members that can teach the historic and theoretical components of a degree in jazz. That's the only thing, that is what I meant when I used that. The other question is, of course, yes, the rhythm section can rehearse in person. We are allowing non-aerosol producing music making to continue, such as pianists can have one-on-one piano lessons. Our percussion section can rehearse. So the rhythm section of the jazz ensemble, certainly, if you're here at the university, please contact me and I can help you set that up.
Thank you. I like this question. Jessica Saros, what milestones does the board expect we will hit in a new vision of the School of Music? How can we ensure that the School of Music isn't threatened again in the near future?
That is a question that asks me to make a promise of some sort. But what I will say is that I think I would like the school to get to a point where it is sustainable, vibrant, and not only, this is not only for me about finances and those kind of things. I think that I would like our students and our faculty and the School of Music eventually make powerful contributions to music, the documentation of music. I want the school to bring new monuments to the existing canon of masterworks and master performances. And I think that that is where I want to go. If you think about that very carefully, in order to do that, you have to have a well-trained machine underneath. And that is where I think I want to go. I cannot make you any promises about, or I cannot speak for the board and their expectations, but I believe that we have a responsibility to contribute to our art in a very meaningful and significant manner. So I hope that answers your question.
One other item I think that you've mentioned in the past I've seen in your vision, and I think it's important to the board in particular, is that for the last few decades or so, the School of Music was a little more insular. It was a bubble. And part of your vision is to be more inclusive and have the School of Music more participatory within the greater university, particularly since we would assumably have a Bachelor's of Music Education, combining forces and utilizing education instruction with the university. I think that's part of what the board is looking for with regards to not just financial stability, but let's make it more a larger part of this particularly small campus.
Right, and that's a very important part of my vision. You know, it's fascinating to me the faculty vote when our future came up for vote by the faculty of IWU. It was so close. It was also revealing how many faculty members voted for closure. I do believe that the school has been very insular and has not functioned as an important player on campus with everybody else. And I say that very openly, which is why the presentation I just presented here, so much of it speaks to how we need to reach out to those around us a little bit better.
Good, thank you. Sharon Chung, it's more of a comment. We need to engage, highlight alums who haven't gone the traditional route for a music career. This is vitally important to showing how a strong liberal arts education can lead to a fulfilling life, even if music isn't one's main focus.
Thank you, Sharon.
That's a comment.
Yeah.
Then we have, tied into Philip Jones, class of '73, his last question. I see a new one from him. What is your vision for jazz at IW? I know you spoke briefly about that we don't have the major, but what is the overall vision for jazz?
My overall vision is to bring more diversity into our programs, whether it is through minors or majors. This is a conversation that I will have to pursue with my colleagues first. It's odd for me that we don't have a jazz program. I come from the University of Cape Town with a vibrant jazz program. The possibilities for jazz to recruit and bring a different kind of student to our campus is enormous. But this is something that we will discuss. We will have to look at the counter proposal we presented and how we proceed. This is also a discussion that will involve resources. Absolutely, it cannot be, a jazz program cannot be introduced without making sure proper resources and proper technological aspects of the school is fixed. But in answer to that, this is going to be part and parcel of the conversation, just as the issues of world music and cultural studies will be a part of it, yes.
Okay, several other comments have come up regarding the initial question regarding large group, that I think that they're referring to large ensemble director. Who is going to be large ensemble director?
That is Dr. Sayan, who we just appointed.
Okay. Jonah Klima, class of 21. How can current students show support this year?
Oh, we are going to engage all of you. One of the things that I did when I first arrived here was to, I think I can say, re-establish a music student advisory committee. That committee will be, students here will have the opportunity to nominate and elect members for every class, for every year to serve. And this committee, I'm on the committee with Professor Dr. Adriana Ponce as well. And through this committee, we will engage you, but I will also have conversations with different groupings of students. The conversations will be broad. It will cover all of the areas of the conversations that I will have with my own colleagues. So absolutely, yes, you will be engaged.
Interestingly, there's at least one more. I mean, there's so many questions that it's hard for me to sort through them all, but Daria Dodonova, also class of 21, asked the exact same question. So it seems that you have a current class set of or classes of students that really want to participate and assist as well, which I think that's amazing. So
I'm delighted to hear that.
Yes. Okay. All right. We have Jeffrey Dexter, class of 85. Would there be a way for IW School of Music alumni who work within the various disciplines of music to be mentors for current prospective students?
I don't see why not. I think this is the kind of relationships that will come out of our interaction with alumni, and I'm overwhelmed with the desire that I see from alumni to contribute at every possible level. So please write me an email, and I will absolutely include this in my consideration and conversations with those around me. And I believe in mentorship. This is part of my background in South Africa. It was very necessary there, so this is very exciting.
Okay, there are so many questions. These are so many. The questions are so broad. I'm trying to cut and paste and put them in a document, and they're just coming too fast. I can't even sort through them. It's incredible. Ruth Knott, class of 89. Hi, Ruth. Recruitment for the School of Music has been lacking for decades. Thank you for your understanding that this has to change. How do you see this change happening, and will the budget for these efforts increase?
We're fortunate to have Laura Dolan as a recruitment officer, and Laura and I work very closely together. Recruitment is crucial and it's important. As I said in my presentation, we have such a wonderful group of young musicians just recently appointed, all of whom are willing and prepared to help us with recruitment. I do believe that my engagement with alumni will be important in this regard. I'm going to look to you to help us, and this is one of the first things that you will hear from me about. You may recall that you received a newsletter from me in August last year. I plan to send one out very soon, in which there will be exactly communication about this kind of contribution and partnership that you can form. My desire is that we need to reach further than Chicago. We need to reach beyond Illinois. So I want to get a sense of where our alumni are based, and I know that you are all over the place. That is what I want to find out, and I want to reach out to all of you wherever you are.
Okay. Again, tying directly into that, Aidan Morris, his class of 24, vocal performance major. He's wondering if there's a student organization that works on recruitment. I know there was, because that's one of the things that I started, and I think that ties in closely with Laura Dolan. So I'm wondering if does a student recruitment tool still exist? Is that still functional? Because I know it was of great value to prospective students to have rather than working specifically with admissions office or with faculty members, to have the student's point of view.
I don't know about this is the first time I hear about the student recruitment tool. It's something that I will explore. What we have done last year, before we were forced to stop traveling, is that we used students to go out and perform at schools. I believe that Lisa Nelson took the string quartet out. So this is something that I would like to explore further, and it's something that I will raise with Laura Dolan. She may know more about it and its history than I do.
Okay. Jenna Cataldi, class of 2006. Are there any plans to update the facilities at the School of Music in order to help with recruitment efforts, such as the auditorium acoustics, practice rooms, and classrooms, etc.? I think that question applies not just to recruiting, but to the greater vision as well of the School of Music for the current students, future students.
Absolutely, yes. We are in conversation about the facilities. It's too early to tell where it's going to go, but clearly the building is old and difficult to live in. It imposes restrictions on our activities, and we're all aware of it. One of the things that I find very frustrating is that we have to take our large ensembles off campus to perform. Not only does that rob us of the opportunity to bring people in onto campus, but it also imposes such a lot of other technical and other headaches, moving things, etc., etc. So yes, facilities. I think that if I look at my vision with issues such as music technology, to bring music technology into our conversations here, it will require a hard look at our facilities. And it's too early to tell where that conversation is going to go, but yes, it's on the table.
Okay, you're going to be excited about this one, Franklin. This is from Jessica October, who is streaming from South Africa at Stellenbosch University, completing her Master's of Music, specializing in music education. And this question is very broad and one that you can speak to in a very unique way, given your history in South Africa and what you had to go through. I would like to know, do you think this model of diversity and curriculum transformation and renewal, which you have presented, can be applied within the South African Music School? But also we need to talk about the thoughts of diversity within the students at Illinois Wesleyan as well. So I think that's kind of what we're talking about, is the diversity information that what you have experienced, how you hope to implement that at Illinois Wesleyan.
It is absolutely necessary for the survival of music schools and music departments. I just attended last year, in November, I attended the National Association of Schools of Music conference. And this exact point was hotly debated. And clearly I think in music, there are two camps at this stage. There's the old school that believe that you must know everything about Bach and Mozart and Beethoven, and nothing else matters. And then there's the other group that thinks that, of course, that's important, but you are leaving so much out. And that is true. For instance, to give you an idea of how important this is, and because it can frame content in a curriculum. In South Africa, we had this debate about a course called History of Music. It was not history of music, it was history of Europe. It ignored all of the 19th century activity in South America. It ignored everything everywhere else in the world. And I believe that we can reframe our investigation of issues that occurred throughout history by understanding that there are themed projects that we can pursue. We can pursue romanticism and not limit it to Chopin and Liszt. We can look at other places. And so within the South African context, that is exactly what I try to do by bringing in, for the most concrete example I have of that exercise was to change the designation ethnomusicology. Ethnomusicology is musicology, period. It is no different than musicology. Ethnomusicology was something that was started by anthropologists, mainly. So we took away that designation of courses and we called it Worlds of Music. It is part of the group of musicological courses and research that is going on. It is not a separate issue. So I don't know if I'm drifting too far away from the original question, but it is about reframing, becoming more inclusive, understanding what we have not talked about is, in my mind, far more important than rather to just keep going the same. The danger is that if we do not open ourselves up for this kind of transformation and change, is that we're training people to stay the way we are. And it perpetuates itself. It makes no sense for the academy to operate in that manner.
Okay, another similar transition, something you spoke of earlier. Roger Sheldon, class of '64. Please don't forget those of us who are not music majors yet benefited greatly from the School of Music. Where else can a biology major hear and perform the highest level of music within their college? Bach B minor, Brahms Requiem, Poulenc Missa Brevis, etc.
Sorry, Todd,
Yep.
you cut out at the beginning. Can you start from the beginning again?
Sure. Roger Sheldon, class of 64. Please don't forget those of us who are not music majors yet benefited greatly from the School of Music. Where else can a biology major hear and perform the highest level of music within their college? Bach B minor Mass, Brahms Requiem, Poulenc Missa Brevis, etc. Even the Apollo Quartet. He says, much appreciated and valued for students well into the future. And I think that speaks strongly to what you've already mentioned, how you want to have these classes, that musicology in general can be appreciated by those who are not strictly majoring in music. And that is another inclusive way that the School of Music can participate more strongly with the greater university at large.
That's precisely why, this is precisely the reach out to those outside of the School of Music that I want to see continue and strengthened. The Jennings Scholar is a wonderful thing for us. It's something that I'm very excited about. Our choral traditions, they all invite students outside of the School of Music to participate. And that is something that I think will remain crucially important for us. Absolutely, it's something that will not fall away. It's something that we will strengthen.
Speaking of scholars, Ben Ebner, 1994 alumni. Hey, Ben. He was there at the same time as me. Merit-based music scholarship is a vital component of a successful recruitment, especially for diversity. As a longtime music admissions director, I'm aware of the intense recruitment competition. Are there plans to start a merit-based scholarship program?
We are in constant conversation with admissions. We have now a system where we can offer students at the time of auditions, we can offer them a scholarship. We have at the School of Music the director's scholarships that is to really recruit talented students as fast as we can. I understand the importance of the ability to make these kind of offers to particularly disadvantaged students, and it's an ongoing conversation. I would like for us to advance to a place where we can make offers, firm offers at an early stage. I think we all need to be prepared for what is going to happen also in terms of this kind of thing for the next academic year, the round of the next academic year. It's going to be far more competitive, and it's something that we need to begin to talk about.
Okay. Speaking of recruitment again, Julia Padigo, I know that the university has recruitment counselors that go out into schools for recruitment. Since teaching at a large regional university for 35 years, I've learned that the applied teachers have to recruit for their own studios in relation with the area high school conductors and directors. Will this be a part of your recruitment strategy? And Julia is class of 74.
Yes, absolutely. The applied teachers, I'm having conversations with them starting next week. They've all been very good in setting up the appointments. The applied teachers will contribute to this effort, but we will all work in tandem. I think Sayan, as director of large ensembles, will be crucially important in advancing our efforts. But we all have a responsibility to recruit. I think that is a very important part of our work here.
Okay. We still have roughly 50 questions, and we only have 29 minutes in which to finish them. So I'm going to parse through as much as possible.
Todd, I think
Yes,
I think we're scheduled to stop at 1.
No, I've been given the go that we're allowed to go to 1:30. Do you have a conflict?
No, I do not.
Okay, good. Okay, good. All right. So Judith Shepelak asks, do you envision greater collaboration with the School of Theater Arts in the area of musical theater?
Oh, that's a conversation that has not started, and I am planning, as I said in my proposal, I plan to reach out to all other departments, including the School of Theater Arts. Yes, but I cannot say more than that because I haven't had that conversation with the director yet.
Okay, you have a big task ahead of you. It's quite a, wow. Okay, Tony Jones, class of 91. Hi, Tony. Are we working to engage transfer students from two-year schools?
Yes, there is a program at the moment that we are recruiting students from two-year colleges. Yes, I, for instance, have had to approve a lot of courses to make it the equivalent of courses that we have here, so that students can come in and they are credited for what they have already done. So that conversation is on the table. Yes, it is happening.
Okay. Bob Jackson asks, is it possible to resurrect the School of Music newsletter to give alumni news of what is going on at Presser Hall and upcoming recitals?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Short, very short answer, yes.
So that's a good one. We need more short answers. I don't know. Jack Duffel asks, are there any plans to continue the Summer Composition Institute? Jack Duffel is class of 19.
At the moment, I'm looking at the answer to that is yes, but I cannot make that final formal decision. We just had our professor of composition retire, but it doesn't mean that the current professor in composition can take that over. So absolutely, it's something for discussion, and this is going to be a School of Music faculty decision. Yeah.
Okay. Just one point of correction. Judith Shepelak's question was actually from George Vineyard, class of 71 and longtime trustee. So that was the musical theater question, was from George.
Okay.
So if maybe now that you know that there's interest in it, maybe you need to go to the highest levels there. Just go right through the board for music theater. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm trying to sort through these now. This is good. Okay. Carol Phoenix, class of 67. Oh, that's Carol again, Carol Pedigo. Phoenix, 67. Will the orchestra, band, and co-choir still be viable, as that is how participation is sustained?
Hi, Carol. I remember you. I think that you sat in my rehearsal when you were here for homecoming last year. I think this is Carol Phoenix. The gates to this campus is the Phoenix Gates now. Carol, yes, our ensembles remain of high priority and importance to us. I think if you think about it, that we just made an appointment of a new ensemble director, a director of large ensembles, speaks to how important this remains to us.
Okay, I've just gone through roughly 10 questions, all regarding the facilities again. Presser Hall and Westbrook Auditorium as an example, practice rooms, etc. And as Franklin has mentioned, that's a huge part of the discussion for the future of the School of Music. And one thing that I think is very important to realize is that if this plan goes through, one thing that all of us who are interested, either alumni or interested in the School of Music, that's going to give it longevity. If they invest in facilities in a large way, there's going to be a very strong desire to make sure that this is a long-term project, not a short-term one. So we must all hope that becomes a reality in this reimagining and the reinvestment in the School of Music. Okay, we have a question from the famous Wayne Mesmer, class of 72. Regarding recruitment. Recruitment of new students in all disciplines and areas of study at Illinois Wesleyan is enhanced when the opportunity to experience and participate for non-music majors in both instrumental and vocal ensembles is presented. Some talented musicians already on campus may have chosen majors other than music. Inclusion of these students would certainly help to round out the liberal arts education, as well as strengthening the diverse makeup of Illinois Wesleyan. Is there going to be an outreach plan for on-campus recruitment of non-music major students, I presume, for those ensembles?
Yes.
So within the school, within the university recruitment.
Yes, there is already a plan, I believe. every year, at the beginning of the academic year, we get a list of students who have a history of musical studies included in, and it's sent to us, and we contact them and to ask them if they're willing and prepared to join an ensemble or take classes in music. And this is in addition to the Jennings Scholarship. The Jennings Scholarship is completely separate from that. So that is happening, yes, and something that we will continue to do.
Okay, Ann Stewart, class of '89, has a question regarding more classes in music production, music tech, sound mixing, recording, etc.
Absolutely, in part of the conversation. This is music and technology is one of the areas that I think that cannot be ignored or shouldn't be ignored. Now, interestingly, music and technology, all of these issues, all of these mentions of what I just heard, again, points to facilities. But you can imagine what we will be able to do if we have facilities to present these courses, how we can go about with our own creative work and how we can establish, produce these canons that I referred to earlier. So absolutely, I think it cannot be ignored and shouldn't be ignored.
Carol has another question for you, Carol Pedigo, who is currently in charge of recruitment for participation for large group ensembles.
It depends on which large groups you're speaking of. For the large groups, it's the director usually. For choral choirs, it's Scott Ferguson. And for the large ensembles, the symphony orchestra and the wind ensemble, it is Sean, whom we just appointed. So.
Okay, so Seon would be the one for the wind ensemble and the orchestra.
Yeah, correct.
Yes, and the symphony orchestra. Okay.
And
okay.
they both work. All of us actually work very closely in planning recruitment activities with Laura Dolan. So Laura Dolan is a very key connection, key person in planning our recruitment events.
Okay. Jessica Sheets, class of 19. How do you view our School of Music at IWW on the spectrum of conservatory level studying of music versus liberal arts style studying of music? Knowing Illinois Wesleyan is the liberal arts institution, it seems at times we are treating our School of Music as a conservatory. Any thoughts?
Yes.
That's a good question, Jessica.
I have, that is a very important question. I fully understand that we are not competing with the Juilliard or the Manhattan School of Music. We're not competing for that kind of student. The kind of students we get here are students who are very talented, but they do not necessarily want to restrict their undergraduate years to just the professional degree training where there's nothing but music in their world. That's a very important distinction to make. And so our energies, the recruitment energies, need to be directed in the correct direction as well. So I'm fully aware of that distinction. I know full well that we are not competing for the same student that the Juilliard would want.
Okay, yeah, I think it's an important distinction, not only for us to be recognized as a School of Music within the School of Music, but it's a recruitment tool for us because there are so many opportunities, as many of the alumni on the chat now have mentioned, as my experience professionally shows as well. It's an advantage. Right. It's not something, there are people who will want to submit themselves only to music in their careers, and that's it. Whether they end up that way or not is another question, but it is a huge advantage for the rest of us to have such a broad education as we have had. So we have another question. I was trying to get the name. All I have is Titan. Oh, here we go. Titan. Nope, I haven't heard it yet. Titan Talks. Was a biology major, class of '93, with little knowledge about the music department, but understood it to be fairly strong. Is Illinois Wesleyan's predicament unique to schools its size and location, or is simply the state of music education?
It's a combination of various factors. I don't think that our predicament for the past 5 years can be pinned down to a specific trend or what's going on. I think music schools generally have to work much harder to recruit students these days. And that is because so many more young people are looking at the career options, the traditional career options. But then, as I said in my vision, there are 21st century career opportunities that we need to look at in more detail. The old-fashioned idea that you're either going to be a musician or you're going to be a music teacher, it's no longer true. And it also, we need to look at the kind of students that we are recruiting and what their possibilities are. The role of technology is going to be important, but so it's not a clear-cut situation where one can attribute the difficulties to just one specific issue. But clearly, I think that universities in general will have to look much harder to recruiting students for all of their programs. I think higher education is going to change fairly soon.
Yeah, I agree. When the first scare came out, I think a lot of us, myself included, did some research with regards to that very question in schools of music, particularly in smaller universities like our own. And it is a universal issue. I mean, you take a conservatory aspect like Oberlin, which is within a liberal arts college, and even they had to make some pretty drastic changes to their program, and it's a much larger program. So it's kind of the reality of higher education, which is under a lot of pressure right now, and there's going to be changes that have already started and that will continue to. So,
right. And another interesting thing that is happening to music schools in particular is the pandemic, the effect of the pandemic. A lot of the conservatories rely very heavily on international students for undergraduate programs. And that has now dried up. International students are not necessarily going to come travel abroad to study anymore. I know that institutions such as the University of Cincinnati, there's a crisis because of the lack of numbers for undergraduate programs.
And it's also, as someone just mentioned, Carol again, it's a bit of a product of a reduction in music education in the public school system. Right. So certainly the more vibrant, the decades in which there was a vibrant music education program for public schools, high schools, middle schools, that was a feeding tool for the university programs as well. So with that being reduced in many, many states, many cities or districts of states, that certainly has an effect on it as well.
Correct.
Next question comes from Jenna Cataldi, class of 2006. And although it was mentioned, there was a lot of information in your presentation, so apparently some of these things do get missed. Has there been any consideration for adding staff resources specifically to advance your vision for the School of Music? These are important questions, and if they weren't heard, they bear repeating. For example, someone on the advancement team dedicated to fundraising for the School of Music, which I believe that in this case is Bob Murray. Correct. So someone has already been assigned. Someone to aid with the recruitment, and someone to aid with alumni engagement, communication efforts, etc. Right. So if you want to retouch on that one more time.
Yes, I've had conversations with advancement, that was Steve Sebring and his team, and subsequently Bob Murray was designated the person that will work directly with me. As I said earlier, that in itself should send a clear message that our conversations are serious and is going to be meaningful, and it can be groundbreaking. For recruitment, we have a very strong relationship with Laura Dolan. She's our music recruitment officer. Laura and I, during the term, we will resume that now. We have a weekly meeting in which we plot and in which we decide strategies that we want to follow. I can't remember what the other part of it was.
We've got alumni engagement and communication efforts.
Rosetta Clay works very closely with all schools and departments with regards to alumni. Yes. So
Okay.
all of those channels are firmly set up. So we do have those.
Okay. We just look for their reemergence, especially for those of us who are alumni and can get engaged once again.
Yes.
Taylor Fox, class of 16, bachelor, BA in music and psychology. I kind of like this idea here. Is there a possibility that the students who are in the prep program that you plan on bringing back will receive significant financial aid to attend Illinois Wesleyan as tuition continues to increase? So sort of a reward for being part of the prep program, I guess, a farm team.
I wish I could make that promise right now. But I can't.
All you need is a ton of money, that's all.
This is something, I mean, these conversations are going to happen. I'm very excited about the prep program and the way it's going to be structured. At the moment, it is there, but it's sort of operating, functioning as a separate entity. I would like us to be in a position where we talk about the prep program as ours, and it comes up when we talk about ourselves. And at the moment, it's not the case. But we're getting into that. We're moving in the right direction. And when the time comes for a prep student wants to come to IWU, that conversation with admissions and financial aid must happen. Yes.
Okay. Very important comment that needs to be said here, and then I'm going to turn it back over to Rosetta, because Tim Surlong sent a message here, and he is the chair of the Board of Trustees, and it ties in directly with what you just stated. And his statement is, the need to improve our music school facility has frequently been emphasized in this discussion. We all agree and are anxious to see that improvement, but it will require additional financial support from our alumni community to get this accomplished. Our advancement team will be communicating this, but it seems appropriate to point out in this discussion what the Board of Trustees sees for us. So there we go. And now Rosetta's back on, but you can see that the request that we all have to improve our facilities is going to require a little bit of our financial resources to back that up. So, okay, Rosetta, you wanted to talk about the future of these discussions with Franklin as well?
Yeah, wow, it's just so much energy and excitement from the group. I really appreciate the questions. And Todd, I know the feeling that you had, that they were coming in really hot.
They were fast.
But you were able to manage that. So thank you so much. And I'll just reiterate that, speaking for our advancement team, it is really great to have alumni and friends who are eager to be a part of this new beginning. And we absolutely appreciate and would love the financial support, and we'll be following up on those who have indicated that interest. Bob Murray, as you said, is going to be great for leading those efforts along with Franklin. But I also want to reiterate Franklin's points that having involvement with recruiting and working with our current students and other engagement opportunities is just as important. So we will be sure to follow up with that. In our office, as he indicated, works with his department on communications and the newsletter and all of those venues and outlets to communicate with you all. So we will be working very closely together to identify those opportunities, and we'll be certain to roll that out to everyone as soon as we finalize all of those details. But I also mentioned at the start that we will have others School of Music faculty members who will participate in the Titan Talks webinar series. And next up is in September. We haven't finalized the date, but Sayan and Brad, who have been talked about quite frequently during this discussion, will be having another webinar. And also Scott Ferguson, who works with our core group, will be featured during homecoming week. And as I said, it will be ongoing. This is not the first. We will continue to feature our School of Music and update you all with the activities that are happening. Todd, thank you again for your continual support and managing this and moderating this webinar today. And Dr. Larey, I look forward to your support and your leadership, and we'll continue to work with you. So you all stay tuned for that. A couple of updates about our next Titan Talk, which is staying emotionally balanced during the time of COVID-19, which will be next Tuesday, August 25th. And as I mentioned, we will have a week-long virtual homecoming celebration, October 5th through October 11th. We have a full week of activities planned that I believe will engage all members of the Titan community. So we're looking forward to that and having you be a part of that. You can go to the alumni page at iwu.edu for more information, and obviously we will share that information via email as well. Thanks again to all of you who joined us today for this episode of the Titan Talks webinar series. You'll be receiving a survey, and we would greatly appreciate you taking the time to share your feedback. Thanks again, and have a great rest of your day.